Lovely students, feel welcome also. Today, I just want to take you through a discussion on the sketch of the curve. How do we sketch a curve? That's what I want us to check. But before I go to that procedure, I want to proceed the procedure on when sketching a curve. When sketching a curve, these are the procedures that you follow. The first one, you have to determine what we call the stationary points. We have to get the stationary points. Then number two, we also need to get the intercepts, both x and y. Then number three, we also need to get the nature of stationary points. In this one, nature means we need to know if those stationary points are maximum or minimum or point of inflection. Then number four, once we have this one, then we proceed on to sketch that particular curve. And I want you to consider this. Let's consider this particular curve. Consider the curve y equals to x squared minus 6x. Now I want to sketch this particular curve, and the first thing that we do under the solution, we have to get the gradient function of this particular curve, that is dy over dx, and by so doing we are going to have this one as 2x minus 6. And remember this, at stationary points dy dx should be 0, and therefore it tells you that for this case 2x minus 6 equals to 0, implying that x equals to 3. Now, once you get x equals to 3, we will have to substitute up here to get the value of y. And therefore, y is equals to 3 squared minus 6 into 3, which will give us 9 minus 18, which gives us 9 but negative. And therefore, the stationary point for this case will be 3, negative 9. Once you have the stationary point from this particular case, the other thing that we ought to get here is the nature of these particular stationary points. Now, the nature of the stationary point can easily be gotten by these two procedures, that we can get the second differential of that function. And if we get that one at stationary point is greater than 0, then it tells you that that is minimum, right? And if we take the second differential of that particular function at stationary point and we get it's less than 0, then that one is maximum turning point. But if we get it as the second differential of this particular equation at stationary points equals to 0, then that is inflection, the point of inflection. Now, once I know this, then I can try as much as possible to get that particular nature of that stationary point. What do? I'll proceed this way. What I'm going to do, I'll get the second differential. Remember, the first differential is here. Then the second differential of this particular function will be 2. And because 2 is greater than 0, then it tells you that that is a minimum turning point. Therefore, this point will be this way. It will have a positive to the left, a 0 at the center, and now a negative to the left, a 0 at the center, and a positive to the right. So it has a dropping gradient at the left, 0, and then positive. Now the next thing that I need to do is to find the nature. The nature is actually found. Next, I need to find the intercept. So we can get at x-intercept y equals to 0, which tells you therefore that x squared minus 6x equals to 0, and I can factorize this one as x into x minus 6 equals to 0. Now you can see our first x is 0 and our second x is 6. Now because y is 0, the coordinate of this one will be 0, 0, and the other one will be 6, 0. This one becomes the x-intercept for that particular case, right? Now once I have this, I can proceed on to find what we call the we can proceed on to find what we call the y-intercept, and we know that the y-intercept, what happened at the y-intercept, x is 0. And if I was to put 0 where there's x, then it means y equals to 0, meaning the y-intercept will be 0, 0. Once I have this, then I'll proceed on to sketch a curve. Remember, for this one, you are making a sketch to get the overview of that particular function. Then what will I do? I'll start with the stationary point, which was at negative 3, positive 3 and negative 9 here. So we have this point here, and the point is minimum. As we can see, the point is minimum. Then I have a 0, 0 as the x and y intercept. You can remember that we got y-intercept as 0, 0 and x-intercept as 0, 0 and 6, 0. Those are the two coordinates, and therefore I'll go to 0, 0, which is here, and then I also go to 6, 0. 6, 0 could be here, 6, 0. Then once I'm done, I can join them. So I'll take this one up that way, and then I also take this one to pass through the intercept like this one. So the curve that I'm getting up here is now y equals to x squared minus 6x. Now, this is the simple way on how to sketch a curve. That if you want to sketch a curve, first of all, get the stationary points, then get the intercepts, get the nature of the stationary points, and once you are there, sketch the curve. But also remember, we have agreed that the second differential of that function at the stationary point, if you get it greater than 0, then that is a minimum turning point. And if you get the second differential at stationary point is less than 0, that is a maximum turning point. And if you get the second differential at the stationary point is 0, then that is the point of inflection. Now, that is how simple it is and how easy it is whenever you want to sketch a curve. Good student, remember to follow me, subscribe, so that we can do this mathematics together. Thank you and be blessed.